Carbon forms millions of compounds. But if you and I want to talk about one of these compounds, we need to refer to it by its name. We need to know its name, right? Now we can give pet names to each compound. For example, if something looks red and smells fruity, we can call it a red and fruity compound. But problem is, there are millions of compounds. Can you imagine remembering pet names for millions of compounds? That's gonna be extremely tough, right? That's where a union of scientists came together called IUPAC, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. And they gave certain rules to name these compounds. Okay, that's what we are trying to talk about in this video, nomenclature of carbon compounds. Now with these rules, we all can come up with the names of all of the carbon compounds. So let's look at these rules. Well, in short, the rule said that every name will have a root word, which will be appended by some suffixes and prefixes. Now, the root word, this will denote the number of carbon atoms present. For one carbon, we'll have meth root word. For two, eth, three, prop, and so on and so forth. Now next, to denote the presence of different functional groups, we use different suffixes and prefixes. For example, if there are double bond and triple bond present in the carbon chain, then we use these suffixes. But if there are no double or triple bond present, then that means by default, the carbon atoms are connected to each other by single bond. And by default, we use the suffix "ane". Now, if there are some other oxygen containing functional groups like these, then we add these suffixes also to the name. And if there are some functional groups like bromine, chlorine, fluorine, and iodine, then we add these prefixes to the name. Now let's look at each of these in more detail. Let's first talk about root word. See, this refers to the number of carbon atoms present in a molecule. If there is only one carbon atom, then to denote this, we use the root word meth. If there are two carbon atoms, then we use eth, three, then prop, four, then bute, and so on and so forth. So for example, if this is the molecule that we are trying to name, then first of all, I will only focus on the number of carbon atoms. Okay, I see three carbon atoms. So to denote the presence of three carbon atoms, I use the root word prop. Let me write down. Prop. Similarly, if this was the molecule that you had to name, can you pause and write down the root word for this one? Now, if you have tried it, let's see. If I just focus on the carbon atoms, I see four of them. So for four, we use the root word bute. Bute. Let's do one more, one last. Can you name this one by yourself first? Now, if you have tried it, let's see. So if I just focus on the carbon atoms, see, this C was for chlorine, okay, not carbon. There is only one carbon atom in this molecule. So to denote the presence of only one carbon, we use the root word meth. Meth. Okay, this is how we give root words to all the carbon compounds. By the way, one side note is that root word actually refers to the number of carbon atoms present in the longest carbon chain. But see, in this video, we are only talking about carbon compounds which have one single carbon chain. See, there is no branching, so multiple carbon chains cannot be formed here, right? So that's why we are not complicating things. We will talk about the longest carbon chain rule in future videos, so don't worry. Now let's talk about suffixes. See, these are words attached to a root word to denote the presence of few functional groups. For example, if we have a double bond in our carbon chain, meaning two or more carbons are attached by a double bond with each other, that means our carbon chain will be belonging to the alkene family. And to denote the presence of double bond, we will attach the suffix "ene" to our root word. Similarly, if there is a triple bond, we will attach the suffix "ine". And if neither double or triple bonds are present in the carbon chain, then the chain will belong to the alkane family and we'll attach the suffix "ane" to it. For example, let's take the first problem. Over here, if I just focus on the carbon chain, okay, let me remove the hydrogens. So you can see that two of the carbon atoms are attached by a double bond. That means this carbon chain belongs to the alkene family. And to represent that, I will use the suffix "ene". Let me add that to the root word "ene", prop plus "ene". Similarly, can you pause the video and think about what will be the suffix for this chain? Now, if you have tried it, let's see. If you thought that since there is a double bond present, this is going to be an alkene, then that is wrong. See, in this step, we only focus on the carbon chain. Here the double bond is between carbon and oxygen, not in the carbon chain. Let me actually show you. If I remove everything else, then you can see that the carbon atoms are only connected by single bonds. That means this carbon chain belongs to the alkane family. And to represent that, I will add the suffix ane. Let me add that. Ane. Now similarly, if you look at this example, this has only one carbon in its chain. So it can only be an alkane family. Okay. So this will also have the suffix ane in it. Now one more thing. If there are any more functional groups such as these present in the molecule, then to show their presence, we add these suffixes in the name. For example, if there is an OH molecule present, that means an alcohol functional group is present. To show its presence, we will add the suffix "ol" to the name. If there is C double bond OH molecule present, that means aldehyde functional group, then we will add the suffix "al" to the name. If there is C double bond O functional group or ketone functional group in the molecule, then we add the suffix "on" to the name. If there is C double bond OOH, that means carboxylic acid functional group present, then we add the suffix oic acid to the name. And by the way, all of these suffixes are added to the suffix of ane, ene, and ine, not directly to the root word, okay? Now with this information, I would like you to pause the video and try to figure out which of these examples have a functional group such as these. Now one hint is that all of these functional groups have an oxygen atom in it. Now if you have tried it, let's see. See the first example, this does not have any oxygen atom. So that means none of these functional groups will be present over here, okay? The second one, here I see that there are two oxygen atoms. So definitely one of these functional groups are present. Actually, if I focus on just the functional group, okay? So the functional group is C double bond OOH. If you can see over here, this is the carboxylic acid functional group. And to denote its presence, we add the suffix oic acid. So let me do that. Oic acid. Okay. Now, if you look at the last example, over here also I do not see any oxygen present. So none of these functional groups will be present over here. Now let's talk about prefixes. See, these are words added before the root word to denote the presence of chlorine or bromine functional group. If there is a bromine functional group added to the molecule, then we add the prefix bromo. If there is chlorine atom present, then we add the prefix of chloro. Among all of these three examples, you can see that there is this last example which has chlorine atom in it. So to denote its presence, we will add the prefix chloro to the name. Okay. Now with this, we have seen how to name the carbon compounds. Now the last thing remaining is to add all of these three names and make up a meaningful name. So first thing we'll do is add the root word with the suffix of single, double or triple bond. And that addition happens simply. Prop plus ene becomes propene. But plus ane becomes butane. And meth plus ane becomes methane. Now next, to all of these base words, we are going to add the suffix of functional groups that had oxygen in them. So there is just one example with that. We had carboxylic acid and the suffix was oic acid. Now when you have to add the base word and the suffix, you remove the last E of the base word. So butane becomes butan and then you add the oic acid. So butanoic acid, that will be a final name. You remove the E and attach the remaining words, butanoic acid. Now to add prefixes, prefixes are added simply. So chloromethane will become chloromethane, something like this. So these are the rules for naming carbon compounds. First, you find out the root word depending on the number of carbon atoms present in the compound. Second, depending on double bond or triple bond, you add an appropriate suffix. And if none of these are present, then by default there will be single bond and the suffix will be ane. Now third, if there are oxygen containing functional groups, then you add these suffixes to the ane, ene and ines. And now fourth, if there are bromine, chlorine, fluorine or iodine, halogen functional groups, then you add a prefix to the root word. Now the fifth and the last step is you add all of these words to make a meaningful word. See, prefixes and root word, they add simply. Root word and anion ines, they also add simply. But when you are adding these oxygen containing functional groups, them to the anion ines, then remember to remove the last E and then only add the suffix. Now that we know the rules of nomenclature, let's try to name a couple of carbon compounds. See, I've noted down these rules in short over here and the suffix for oxygen containing functional groups over here. Now with the help of these two, can you name these compounds? Now if you have tried it, let's see. So the first one, this contains 2 carbon atoms, okay? So depending on these, I can figure out the root word. Now for 1 carbon atom, the root is meth. For 2, the root is eth. Eth. Now the next step is to find out the suffix for single, double or triple bonds. So here I see that both the carbon atoms are connected by a single bond. That means the carbon chain belongs to the alkane family. And for that, we use the suffix ane. Okay. Now next step is to attach a suffix for oxygen containing functional group. And yes, there is one, CHO. Now which functional group is this? Is this an alcohol? No, if this was an alcohol, then we would have denoted this as C-OH, not CHO. This is in fact an aldehyde. Aldehyde also has 1 carbon, 1 oxygen and 1 hydrogen. Okay. So to represent that, we write CHO. So to denote the presence of aldehyde functional group, we use the suffix al. So that will be added over here. Now I do not see any presence of chlorine or bromine, so no prefix will be added. Now the last step is to add all of these words to get a meaningful name. Now see, eth plus ane, this will be added simply and we will get ethane. Ethane. Now when we are adding this word and al, then last E will be removed and then these 2 words will be added, ethanol. So this compound is called ethanol. Now one small thing, when I learned this concept for the first time, I was generally doing one common mistake. Whenever I had to count the number of carbon atoms to write the root word, I would miss out the carbon in the functional group. So for example, for this compound, I would have said that, hey, there is only 1 carbon atom and I would not count this carbon. And the reason for that was because I felt that this carbon is included in this functional group. So when we are naming the functional group, when we are adding the suffix for the functional group, we're already including this carbon. So why should I double count the carbon in the carbon chain? But see, that's not how it's done. In the first step, when you are counting the carbon atoms, you're supposed to count all the carbon atoms in the chain, even including the one that is present in the functional group. So that's where there are 2 carbon atoms. Okay. Remember this. Don't do the same mistake that I used to do. Now let's do the naming of this compound. So here first step will be to find out the root word, which depending on the number of carbon atoms. So here I see 3 carbon atoms in the carbon chain. Okay. I am including the carbon that is there in the functional group. So for 3 carbon atoms, the root word is prop. Prop. Now over here, let's use the suffix for single, double or triple bond. So see, there is a double bond, but this double bond is not in the carbon chain. This double bond is between carbon and oxygen atom. Here we are only concerned with double or triple bonds in the carbon chain between carbon atoms. And over here I see that there are only single bonds between carbon atoms. So therefore the carbon chain belongs to the alkane family. And to denote that, we will use the suffix ane, propane. Wait, there is a suffix also, right? Because there is a oxygen containing functional group. What about that? So this one is a ketone group. See, both sides, C double bond O, there is carbon and there is carbon. So this is ketone functional group. And to denote the presence of this, we use the suffix -one. -one. And there are no other prefix that are going to be added because I don't see any chlorine or bromine over here. So the last step is to add these, okay? So again, prop, ane, they will be added simply. We will get propane. When we are adding this and -one, then in that case, E would get cancelled and then we will attach these 2 words. So let me remove that. So propanone, okay? Propanone, this is going to be the name of the compound. Now let's summarize the video. In this video, we saw how to name carbon and its compounds. First, you count the number of carbon atoms in the given molecule, and depending on the number, you give an appropriate root word. Now second, if there are double or triple bonds between the carbon atoms, you add the suffix -ene or -ine. And if there are only single bonds, then you add the suffix -ane. Now if there are some oxygen containing functional groups, Then you add these suffixes to the ane, ene, ein. And if there are any bromine, chlorine, fluorine, or iodine functional groups, then you add these prefixes to the root word. Now the last step is that you add all of these words to make a meaningful name of the compound. Just be careful when you're adding these suffixes to the ane, ene, ein, the e's will get cancelled and then only you will have to add these suffixes.